Have you ever stopped to wonder how your phone just knows what you're about to type, or how a video game can build an entire, massive world? Well, that's the magic of artificial intelligence, and today we're going to dive into its amazing story. It all really boils down to this one simple but huge question. For literally centuries, people have been fascinated by this idea, and it's the very spark that got the whole field of AI started. So, let's start at the very beginning. We're talking way, way back, long before computers were even a thing, back when a thinking machine was just something you'd find in myths and legends. For ages, people have imagined creating artificial beings. You can find stories about giant bronze robots in ancient Greek myths. And then, much later, you had real-life inventors building these incredible mechanical calculators that could solve math problems all by themselves. These were the first small steps, showing that, yeah, machines could handle some parts of thinking. But true AI, well, that was still a long, long way off. But this big question wasn't just for stories anymore. A brilliant mathematician named Alan Turing, who's often called the father of computer science, took it very, very seriously. He was one of the people who helped build the first real computers, and he challenged everyone to think bigger about what they could one day become. To try and answer his own question, he came up with this really famous experiment called the Turing test. Okay, so the idea is actually pretty simple. Imagine you're chatting with two contestants hidden behind a screen. One is a person and one is a computer. If, after talking to both of them, you can't tell for sure which one is the machine, then that machine passes the test. Turing's ideas were, totally mind-bending, and they really lit a fire. They inspired a group of brilliant scientists to get together and create a brand new field of research, one that was completely dedicated to building thinking machines. The year was 1956. So picture this, a group of the world's smartest researchers all gathered for a summer workshop at Dartmouth College, and their main goal? To finally figure out how to make machines think and learn just like us. And it was right there that they gave this new field its name, artificial intelligence. They were so optimistic, they actually thought they could build a machine as smart as a human in just a couple of decades. It really felt like the future was right around the corner. And for a little while, it kind of seemed like they were on the right track. Early AI programs did some incredible stuff. One could solve super complex math problems way faster than any student. Another one, called Eliza, could even act like a therapist and have conversations with people. These early successes got everyone really excited, and a lot of money started pouring into the research. But here's the catch. Progress wasn't just a straight line up. The history of AI is actually a lot more like a roller coaster, with these amazing highs followed by some pretty serious lows. You see, it turned out that building real intelligence was way, way harder than anyone had guessed. The early programs were cool, but they were more like clever tricks. They couldn't actually understand the world. So when progress slowed down, the funding and excitement just dried up. These down periods became known as AI winters. The 80s did have one big bright spot, though, something called expert systems. Think of them like AI specialists. So instead of trying to make an AI that knew everything, these programs were designed to be experts in just one single area, like helping a doctor diagnose a disease. They were the first AIs that were actually useful in the business world, but they had a big problem. Humans had to write out thousands of rules for them by hand, like a giant, very rigid instruction manual. That made them expensive and really hard to update. But then, something happened that completely changed the game. The explosion of the internet. All of a sudden, computers had access to this gigantic library to study from, basically the entire internet. All of those websites, all those pictures and videos became the fuel for a totally new and way more powerful way of building AI. And this was a massive shift. We went from the old style of AI where humans had to write every single rule to this new kind of AI that could actually learn all on its own just by studying tons and tons of data. We call this powerful new approach machine learning. It often uses something called neural networks, which are basically computer systems inspired by the way our own brains are wired together. So instead of telling an AI, a cat has pointy ears and whiskers, you just show it thousands of cat photos and it teaches itself to recognize the patterns. It learns from experience, pretty much just like we do. So just how powerful was this new way of doing things? Well, in 1997, a computer named Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov, who was the world chess champion at the time. This was a huge moment. It proved that machines could now perform better than the very best humans at tasks that require super deep strategy and complex thinking. Okay, so what does all of this history mean for you right now, today? Well, it means that AI has officially moved out of the research lab and is now all around us, a lot of times in ways we don't even realize. Seriously, just think about your day. When you search for something online, that's AI. When you ask Siri or Alexa a question, AI. The social media feeds that somehow know exactly what you want to see, the photo filters that perfectly find your face, even the safety features in new cars. Yep, it's all powered by AI. So, this whole incredible journey, from ancient myths all the way to the phones in our pockets, it just shows how a really big idea can grow through these cycles of hype, disappointment, and then amazing breakthroughs. Right now, we are living in one of the most exciting times in AI history, and believe me, the story is far from over. As this tech gets smarter and faster, the big question isn't really, can machines think anymore? Now, it's, what should they do for us? The story of AI is still being written, and it's your generation that's going to decide what the next chapter looks like. So, what part will you play?